This is really huge, and I'm going to dig into it with the passion of heaven. DNI Tulsi Gabbard was on the Podforce One with Miranda Devine podcast today, and she stated some very interesting things about UFOs. Now, for context, the Director of National Intelligence is one of the highest ranking national security officials in the U.S., overseeing all 18 intelligence agencies and reporting directly to the president. And the current director of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Ratcliffe, was actually the DNI for about 7 months. His tenure lasted until January 20th, 2021, when President Biden took office. And as you may recall, John Ratcliffe went on to several news segments, and he conveyed amazing things about UFOs. He got right up to the line of saying that UFOs stem from non-human intelligence. On national television, he said things like, "We cannot replicate this technology. We cannot defend ourselves from this technology because of how advanced it is. We don't know how it works. We have satellite imagery of this technology, and we have recordings of this technology going beyond the sound barrier with no boom." Let's jump right into the interview by Miranda Devine.
UFOs. There's been a lot of...
My husband is in the corner, for the record, pumping his fist right now that you're asking this question.
That may seem like something trivial, but I don't perceive it that way. The fact that her husband is interested in the topic, I see it as a benefit, because he might be knowledgeable about this topic like you are and like I am, and he might get the DNI to watch movies like The Phenomenon by James Fox, to pay close attention to the Schumer and Rounds UAP Disclosure Act. I mean, she should probably be doing that anyways, but maybe he discusses it with her. Maybe he talks about whistleblowers with her, like David Grush and Matthew Brown, and talks to her about the historical record. Maybe he reads books and shares things with her. So I don't see that as trivial at all. I'm happy that her husband is a proponent for what I would assume is UFO transparency.
So, I mean, is there anything, we've had some declassification of some very strange videos that look like they are, unidentified flying objects. Is there anything in the files that you think you could find or you have found?
Nothing that I'm prepared to talk about today.
Ooh. So watch this space.
Say what?
Watch this space.
We are I'm just going to say this. We're continuing to look for the truth and share that truth with the American people.
Tulsi was asked if she found anything interesting in the files that she could talk about with the host, and Tulsi responded, "Nothing I'm prepared to talk about today," which suggests she has found interesting information. And it also suggests that there is a time and a place that she will be willing to talk about. Because if she wasn't willing to talk about it, she could have just said no. But she didn't say no. She didn't say she didn't find anything. She said, "Nothing I'm prepared to talk about today," which is open-ended and suggestive that she's willing to talk about it at the right time in the right place. Then she went on to say, "We're continuing to look for the truth and share the truth with the American people." That's very strong. So she's gone on the record when she did not have to, stating she's looking for the truth and she wants to share it with the American people. So at least she verbalized her intention of being transparent about UFOs. And we need to hold her to that, because she is the Director of National Intelligence, overseeing all 18 intelligence agencies. In my opinion, she is most likely been read in on the legacy UFO program, other UFO programs, and the state of the situation when it comes to non-human intelligence. It appears that when John Ratcliffe was head of DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, he also was read in because he said things like, we cannot defend ourselves against this level of technology. Why would he say that if he wasn't actually given information on the technology itself? So it's highly likely that Tulsi Gabbard is not ignorant on this issue, especially considering her extremely high position within the intelligence community. So this is a really good sign. This is not trivial. And now we can hold this over her as U.S. citizens and the world at large, because she said she wants to share it. And so she has to fulfill that if she wants to maintain her integrity.
Because it's so interesting. I think it's one of those burning things that
Of course.
we grew up with.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
and-
There are a lot of questions, and there's a lot that's been put out there, and there's, I'm still going through and looking through what do we know and what is it that we don't know.
So Miranda Devine stated it's so interesting, and Tulsi Gabbard acknowledged that reality. And one of the biggest complaints many advocates for disclosure have communicated who are within the intelligence community or were within the intelligence community is that nature should not be classified. And this really gets to the heart of why nature should not be classified, because it's a part of our universe. It's academic, it's scientific, and therefore it's intrinsically interesting. And so, what could be more interesting than non-human intelligence and their technologies and their culture and their agenda and their intentions, right? All of that is overwhelmingly interesting and part of the greater reality universe we reside in. And so I hope Tulsi Gabbard understands that you can go too far with overclassification, and that you can demarcate between that which is going to give secrets away to our adversaries and that which is going to light a fire in our souls because of the grandeur of our nature, of our universe. So in that vein, I hope Tulsi puts an end to the classification of nature, because UAP are nature, just like the animal kingdom is nature, just like we are nature. So Tulsi says that she's still going through and looking through what it is we know and what it is we don't know. But the truth of the matter is, as the director of national intelligence, who overlooks 18 intelligence services, agencies, I think there's little doubt that if she requested a briefing on what is known about UFOs, UAP, she would be given that briefing. And so what is the problem, Tulsi? With all due deference, I think the American public and the world at large primarily just want a clear answer on whether we are alone or not. You don't have to tell us about the propulsion systems. You don't have to tell us what you've learned about non-human intelligences that you have ascertained is a state secret and an advantage to our military and intelligence community to ensure security for the nation. But if you request a briefing and you learn that there are secret programs that have scientifically proven we're not alone, well, then you and your colleagues need to find a way to get that to the public so that all 8 billion of us are no longer living in the dark. Let's get some commentary from some people in the Twitter sphere regarding this interview. Sniper Jackals wrote, "I am actively looking into the allegations of David Grush. If these are true, they are extremely concerning. Now that would make for a hell of a statement." I agree. It would have been extraordinary if DNI Gabbard stated and mentioned David Grush. However, I still feel like what she stated was very important and significant. Joe Murgia follows up and responds, "Hell yes." And a week later, "I have spoken to people who claim to have worked on non-human craft for several years. They walked us into the hangar that holds these enigmas. Next step is we're bringing in other experts to confirm their claims. I can dream." Yes, that would be the ideal scenario playing out. Tulsi didn't go there. But I still think what she said was huge. And it puts her in a position where she is now obligated to be forthright with the American public because she said that she would be. And I think we've grown very desensitized to these kind of updates. We kind of just think, oh, no big deal. But if something like this happened 15 years ago, the UFO community would be blowing up over it. But we are in a different era right now where these kind of things happen all the time, where people in government broach the UFO topic. We have broken through into definitely a new stage in the disclosure process. And it is a process. So let's see where this goes. And I got to admit, this is kind of exciting. It's not that I am convinced that Tulsi is going to do the right thing, because that remains to be seen. But the fact that she broached it, said she's looking into it, and wants to be transparent to the American public is a huge step in the right direction. Please do not forget to subscribe. If you'd like to support this channel, you could check out my Patreon page. You could check out my YouTube members page. You could give me a one-time donation, or you could just slap a like on this bad boy, and I would appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Special thanks to all YouTube members, patrons, those that have bought merch, those that have given me a one-time donation. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.